Hey guys, this is Mr. Robinson. Welcome to my spoiler-filled review of Thor: The Dark World, the second spoiler review I've ever done, the first being Star Trek Into Darkness. Normally I don't do these reviews because usually in my reviews I get out everything I need. I only do spoiler reviews on occasions where I have complaints, but I really can't say what they are without spoiling things, so that's what this video is for. Now, if you see my spoiler-free review, you know that I gave the movie my rating of worth seeing in your lifetime. But in between that and this, I've had time to think about it in prep for this spoiler-filled review, and I'm going to change the rating for the movie. It's good, but not great, and this video is to tell you why. Some of the reason why I'm giving it my good but not great rating is due to things in the movie that either A, I wanted to see happen but didn't get, or they were just things that, to be honest, weren't handled all that well. I've already mentioned Malekith. He is just the worst villain of the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far, and I like all the other villains, not him. He has no quarrel with anyone alive. I mean, in the prologue where we get to see who Malekith is and what he's after, the only one he has quarrel with is Odin's father. We really don't see him going like for some sort of revenge, and he's just not that interesting. And when I say that Loki is like Toy Story 3 and he's like Cars 2, I mean it, because Loki is a very fun villain. Malekith kind of drags the movie down. The only threatening thing about this movie, honestly, is his sidekick, Cursed, who, he's a little monstery, a bit bulky, but he's definitely a more interesting and more fun villain to watch rather than Malekith. And he's more of a threat than Malekith because he's the one who actually kills Thor's mother, Frigga. And that's the emotionally powerful scene I mentioned in my other review. Frigga is killed. It's all very sad. It's kind of emotional, and even Loki gets really sad, which is one of the reasons why Loki agrees to go after Malekith with Thor, because he wants to avenge Frigga's death. One thing that the trailer led me to believe was that Sif and the Warriors 3 would join Thor, Loki, and Jane Foster on this journey to basically get rid of the ether out of Jane Foster and stop Malekith. Sort of like a Fellowship of the Ring type quest. And it would have been a great opportunity to explore the Thor-Sif relationship with Jane Foster being there. And I don't know, maybe see them butt heads. I don't read Thor that much, so I don't know how the relationship works, but I know basically they kind of act as two loves, which I would prefer Thor hook up with Sif. Unfortunately, after they break Loki out, Sif and the rest of his friends don't really pop up. Sif and Volstagg don't pop up until the mid-credit sequence, which we'll get to later. So that was a bit disappointing that there was no Lord of the Rings type quest with all these characters. What they do with Loki, everyone says he steals the show, and yes, he does, but he's not as in it as many people lead you to believe. He kind of gets a respectable amount of time, like I said, to where he really shines whenever he's on screen, but he's not in the movie enough to where he takes over the movie. Though at the end, he manages to seize control of the throne. That part I won't actually say what happens, even though this is a spoiler review, but at the end of the movie, he takes control of the throne, which I feel is a great setup to a third Thor movie. And my idea for a third Thor movie would be, Loki is the villain again. This time, he has the throne, but he's disguised as Odin the whole time. And you could bring the Enchantress in to be his aide, and scrap Jane Foster, and it's basically Thor, Sif, and his friends trying to take back the throne. And maybe you could throw in Beta Ray Bill, maybe? I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas, but that's what I feel like the next Thor movie is going to be, where Loki is the central villain, he has the throne, Thor and his friends have to take it back. The humor works better when it's with Thor and his other friends, not so much with Darcy and her intern, which is just some bullshit that shouldn't have been in the movie. I don't see what the point of it was. But the one part of the movie that had me laughing hard was after Thor frees Loki, Loki changes into all these forms to basically avoid detection and basically to annoy Thor in a way. First he turns into an Asgardian warrior. Then he's back to Loki but turns Thor into Sif. And then finally he turns Thor back into Thor and he turns into Captain America, which I found to be pretty funny. Chris Evans comes back in the movie. Similar to how Mark Ruffalo came in Iron Man 3 for that cameo at the end of the movie as Bruce Banner. The only thing left to talk about are the two credit scenes. I'll talk about the last one first, which is the first end credit sequence that's not worth sticking around for. Before the end of the movie, we see Jane, Darcy, and Eric Selvig in an apartment eating cereal. That's the last scene with them in it before the credits start. And then after the credits, we see Jane Foster at the table eating cereal. And then Thor comes back on their porch. And she walks out, and in a really corny, slow-mo kind of way, they kiss each other. And it's just... I hated that scene. It's just so pointless. It's too corny. The only two things that amused me was that there's some frost giant monster running around chasing birds in London. Because during the fight, they collected a frost giant monster from the frost giant's home and accidentally brought it to Earth via those weird portals in the movie. That was a bit amusing. The other thing that amused me was when that scene came up and we see Jane Foster eating cereal, the guy behind me says, "She's still working on that bowl?" And that had me laughing. I mean, that was the funniest moment of that scene, was listening to that guy. And for some reason, all the hatred seems to be going towards the mid-credit scene, which is a lead-in to Guardians of the Galaxy. Some people have said it looks like an outtake from Doctor Who. Some people have said it looked like a bad 60s science fiction movie. Which, basically what the scene is, Sif and Volstagg go with the Ether to this weird room where they meet the Collector, played by Benicio del Toro, who's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. He has white hair and is dressed very cartoonish in a way. And they basically say, we have the Tesseract, but we have the Ether too. We can't have two Infinity Stones in the same room. The keyword being infinity. So they give the Collector the Ether, and the Collector says to himself, 1 down, 5 to go. And if you're a Marvel Comics fan, you know exactly what they're going for. With all the hate towards this scene, I'm just sort of confused. I mean, I will agree with some people and Alan Taylor, the director of this movie, that it doesn't jive well with the rest of the movie, which I can totally see that. But to be hateful about it and say, I'm not excited for Guardians of the Galaxy anymore, I mean, that's really kind of harsh and unfair. I mean, you people are willing to accept giant blue 9-foot-tall cat people in Avatar. You're able to accept giant transforming robots that turn into cars and other stuff, but this is like kind of pushing the limit. I'm just kind of reacting to the complaints I've heard. I don't know what the general consensus is, but I'm assuming it's very negative. All I'm saying is, that could be just the Collector's room, that could be just the Collector himself, because we have yet to see what the other Guardians will look like. We have yet to see a good trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy, and everyone else could be different from the Collector. I mean, if you people are willing to accept Star Wars, Star Trek, Transformers, and Avatar, then you can accept Guardians of the Galaxy. Especially since it has a talking, gun-wielding raccoon and a tree. So that's all I have to say spoiler-wise about Thor the Dark World. Leave a comment and tell me your thoughts on all the spoiler elements of the movie, especially the mid-credit scene for Guardians. Subscribe to my channel for more reviews and stuff in the future. Check out my other channel, AlexG8462. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at AlexG462. Like me at Facebook /Cinemas with Mr. Robinson. Tell your friends about me and share me with them. I'm Mr. Robinson, and remember, know it before you see it. I'll see you guys later.